Right, I am making the cheapest V12 car possible. And
So when I started doing YouTube, I was doing a lot of things like this, which is just dream ideas of cars, and I wanted to revisit this one specifically, and that is to make a V12 that I would be able to own in my current circumstances. But I know a lot more about the game now, and more about myself since I've made this. So to do this, we're gonna start off by making this, by choosing one of the smallest bodies possible. And luckily, we have a wheelbase slider, so we can make this really small, somewhere around 2 meters. And that's a little too small. At around 2 meters, we do have this body from the 2000s, so it shouldn't be too bad. And if we go up, nothing really changes very much. I do like this body, however. So I think I might go ahead with that. And yeah, I think this is a great base. I love this body, and I even made a kit car from this body sort of thing, and that was fantastic. So we're gonna go with the cheapest mass-produced car that we can kind of make reasonably. So we're gonna go with steel. It's gonna be a ladder and more steel. Front transverse is probably going to be the cheapest because front-wheel drive is quite cheap. So I wouldn't mind having a mid-engine. No, I think that would increase the cost too much. I suppose we can check out later to see whether having mid-engine is cheaper, but for now we'll go with that. Then double wishbone on the front and some sort of torsion beam in the rear for lightness and more cargo capacity. Because this needs to be able to sell. It doesn't need to be just cheap, because what's the point of being cheap if nobody's going to buy it? It's going to be alluring, but also not trash. So here we're going to select our V12, aluminium, and automation is telling me that the engine is way too big. So how small does this have to be? I can make it actually quite big if I wanted to, but I also want to keep the service price down. So that means I've got to get not only these numbers to be smaller, but this fill thing to be smaller. So what about like a 1.6 liter? That's like a small engine size, right? That you see in a lot of small cars, but we're still very big and oversized. So maybe we'll make the stroke longer again and make the engine as small as possible. And unfortunately, this is as small as we can make it. It's not gonna get any smaller than that. Anyway, double overhead count, 4 valves per cylinder, and more aluminium. Now I know that cast iron is cheaper, but it's not that much cheaper, especially on such a small engine. Probably don't need a harmonic dampener for something this small. Casted cast. Don't need variable valve timing, but we probably should check to see if it helps our emissions later on, because that is an issue with trying to get a car sold in most places of the world. Injection, direct injection, obviously. A single throttle manifold compact. Well, I do like compact. Whoa, my God, the variable manifold looks insane. That's crazy. I think we'll just go compact for now, and then lean that out. Short cast, dual, high flow catalytic converters, and then some cheap old straight throughs. Hopefully the straight throughs is the cheapest. And we got low power, but I don't care about power. I just want a V12. So let's give that a really high RPM as well, because may as well go full dream team on this. We can only go up to 7,800 RPM though. I would like to go higher. What if we go harmonic dampener? Yes, there we go. Now we can rev out to 9,000 RPM. Oh, that is cool, bro. What if we make the spring stiffer? That is not changing our power numbers at all. What if we up the cam a little bit? All right, with the exhaust size. And our emissions are at 74.6. Now, if we go variable valve timing, that does help us a lot. So that is probably going to be quite important, especially if we try to get into the European markets. And a higher cam profile is apparently helping our our emissions as it's going green every single tick. That is not what I was expecting. So let's go ahead, give this thing a bunch more power, tune it up as good as possible. Seems that having a high compression ratio is actually hurting our emissions as well. Maybe we shouldn't go too high on compression ratio. Okay, this is where I'm going to start questioning my decisions, because we are not generating a lot of power, and ladder chassis is cheaper, but it is a lot heavier. We'll leave this for now. And then I do love putting a yellow valve cover on these especially high performance, I mean, even though it's not actually high performance engine covers. Yeah. Oh, so good. Then let's give it a bit of a listen, shall we? Come on. I suppose it doesn't matter how gutless it is. That is a fantastic sound. I wonder what sort of scaling we can do to like reduce our costs. Not a whole lot by the looks of it. It seems to be fairly limited. But then again, who am I to comment on like making limited body morphings on bodies? Then a manual, because that is also cheaper. It only needs to be something like a 5-speed. Increase that top speed probably a lot. I don't actually know, really, honestly. Differential. See, here's the tricky thing. We are trying to put this through the front wheels, but it is also not a huge amount of power, so we might get away with an open differential. Radial tires, something like a sports compound, because tires are not one of the things you should cheap out on too much. And let's go something like 195s maybe? And they could stay steel to keep the price lower, even though they're not a whole lot cheaper. Vented disc on the front, probably get away with a 1 piston for something this small. And then, yeah, we could probably do drums on the rear because they don't need to be as powerful back there. No under tray. Oh, you know what? Emissions targets and all that sort of stuff. Let's go semi-clad. Brake airflow up a little bit. Then we can reduce the engine cooling because we don't actually probably generate a lot of heat from this engine. Oh, we only have 2 seats as an option. That's pretty lame. I mean, I'd love to be able to try to fit somebody back there at least. And let's go ahead, let's go basic, and then make them like half seats, so then like they're super duper cheap. Let's go a basic CD player was probably the best way to do it. I'd love some way to like have USB or just a 3.5-inch jack to plug in. Hydraulic power steering, ABS. I don't think it needs traction control, but it might. You know what? I think traction control may be a requirement in some areas, so we'll put it on there for now. And safety, basic 10s. Just get me through the regulations. That's all I need here. Standard spring. I really do want to go mono tube because we do want handling here. Passive sway bar and set it up on a sports. And then we don't need so much camber for road use, so let's remove a lot of that. Then let's slam it as low as possible. That's as low as it'll go? That's kind of lame. But let's have a look at our price. $28,000! Okay, let's see what happens if we go to monocoque and steel. Yep, that adds almost $2,000. But it does reduce our weight by 40 kilograms. That is a lot, but still, we're less than a ton, which is a pretty good number. I should probably also reduce the rear brakes a lot. Goodness gracious. Those rear brakes are well overpowered. All right, now I suppose it's time to start cheaping out on things. Drivetrain can be a little bit cheaper. We don't need, like, say, a synchros on the rear gear. Our top speed is probably also hurting us quite a bit, so let's reduce that a bit. And then put on a speed limiter and limit us to, like, 190. Probably a good way of doing this, and this will allow us to still keep a good fuel mileage. 47 miles per gallon. That's a pretty good number, especially considering we got a V12. That is a good sound. Wheels can say steel. I wonder what happens to our price. We're at $27,900. Alloy, only $100 extra. That's not so bad. The big problem is the fact that we're still $28,000. We're like $10,000 to $20,000 over the price I would have liked to have been. What if we go medium compound? We're not getting wheel spin yet, so that's fine. Maybe we can reduce our tire width a little, then soften our rear suspension a bit. Okay, we've got rid of the oversteer, but it hasn't affected our price at all. God damn it. I just looked at the speed limiter, and if I remove the speed limiter, that's still only an extra $100. We're still only nitpicking on price. Like, we are so cheap. Let's go. Like, 8-track? No. AM radio? Sure. That hasn't affected our price at all, though. How does going from a CD player to an AM radio not reduce our price? Oh my god. No radio? That's only $300. Though that is still actually a fair chunk of money, I suppose. Okay, what about twin tube? Did that not change our price at all? $27,800? Yep, that's exactly the same. Okay, well then there's no point to not going twin tube. Honestly, I don't know why the price is so high. Maybe if I go solid disc on the front. Nope. There's nothing really to do. Is it because my safety requirements? Let's go basic 2000s. That hasn't changed our price much. That's only $1,000. There's not much to be done here. What if I go monocoque and then McPherson strut? Nope, that's increased us by nearly $1,000. God damn it. What about no under tray? We are getting great mileage already. That's helped us a little bit. Okay, how much does changing to cast iron help? Oh, that helped us by nearly $3,000. That's impressive. What is our weight at the moment? We're still less than 900 kilos. All right, let's go like a softer brake pad type. See if that helps us out. And our price is now not that much better. All right, time to reduce our wheel size. Something like 15s should be available for regular sorts of parts. Makes the wheels smaller. Can I drop the suspension at all? No, I can't. Well, what's our price? $24,300? Damn, bro. We're still way way overpriced. This is still out of the amount of money that I have by a huge amount. Okay. How much are our emissions going to get hurt if we go to no variable valve timing? Ooh, our emissions become horrendous. So maybe we'll have to drop our compression ratio to help our frickin', oh god, emissions targets. Okay, we're down to about less than 100, so that's a good thing, right? And our power is so hurting right now. But how has that hurt our price? Oh, good. Okay, so we're down to $22,000 now. So down a couple of thousand. Okay, time to start dropping some quality off where we don't need it. Aerodynamics quality can come down a little bit. Interior quality does not need to be great. Driving aids, these don't need to be fantastic. Safety doesn't need to be so good. That's gonna hurt our weight, but oh well. Oh, that's right. Reducing safety gives us less weight. Oh, down to $21,000 now. Suspension doesn't need to be oh so awesome. Wheels don't need to be great, but we don't want to suffer our tires too much. Nearly at less than, nearly at the $20,000 mark. We are seemingly able to reduce our engine block quality and only hurt our RPM just a little bit, so that's fine. We can bring that down because we're not really using that high-end torque anyway. Does it still sound amazing? Yes, it does. Body quality doesn't need to be so high either. And we're less than $20,000. Love it. Our fuel mileage is hemorrhaging though. We're down to 29. Damn, I didn't realize that reducing my engine block quality... Wait, what? I just moved this. What happened? Oh, I reduced piston quality. Yeah, right, you know what, that could stay low. What about reducing engine block quality? Okay, it hasn't hurt our power too much. Our emissions are only hurt a little bit, but we're fine with that. And yep, okay, good. What if we now increase our spring stiffness? That does bring that power back that we just lost. And our price is down to $15,900. Yes! Yes! And probably drop our brake quality a little bit. We don't need huge amounts of gains here. We want a cheap V12. $15,700, still out of my price range, but getting pretty close. I shouldn't actually say that. It's not actually close at all. It's just closer to what I would like to imagine. At $50,700, what if I go to a monocoque now and go McPherson start to save money? That adds $400. I think I'm fine with that for the weight benefits. What if we drop our safety quality and get like a really bad NCAP rating? Because I personally don't care. 16.1, that's barely seems worth it. I really want a good LSD in the front for like better everything. Which one is less engineering time? This... still a lot. We could just go locker, but I don't think so. I think we'll try Viscous LSD. And that's only added an extra $100 onto the price I had. So I think that is a worthwhile upgrade. What if we drop more quality off of that? So like a really shitty LSD. Doesn't change anything. God damn it. We have hurt our fuel efficiency, guys, so goddamn much. Let's try increasing our compression ratio again. Like it's gonna hurt our thing here, but does it help our mileage? Not much, actually. Let's just make sure this stays below 100 and we'll be good. Yeah, so about 9.7 to 1. We're not using all of our RON, which is disappointing, but I suppose what can you do? Okay, so it's $16,000. If I put at least a little bit of variable valve timing on, it only adds $400. But then, because our emissions are much lower, we can add a whole bunch more power. And we wanted to stay below, I think, 100. And our fuel is still not particularly bad at the moment. And our power, yeah, there we go. So back to 92 kilowatts. And our mileage is back up again, so we're good there. Oh, this is all turning out fan-deadly-tastic, and our price is only $16,400. What price did I reach in this video? Like, goddamn. Looks here that we've got about $22,700. Probably generates a lot more power than what I'm generating, and probably a much better car overall, but I think I've done a pretty good job to lop off about, what, about $6,500. And a car that I wouldn't be too ashamed to drive. It is currently, hey, 6.9. Faster than my current road car, and probably the fastest car I would have ever owned. So I think we are probably good to move on now. Do we go with lots of downforce on this? Probably not. Now, steel wheels, we want to keep it cheap, so something kind of generic. I think something like the cop wheels. Oh, but I hate these hubcaps though. Can we get rid of them? Oh, okay, we might be able to paint it away with some transparency. damn it, it leaves a big hollow hole. That sucks. Wonder if I can play with the concave nature of it and make it match up with the tire, with the brake disc maybe. Wheel concave. Oh, that can get very concave. Nice. If I do rim center offset, it moves the wheel as well. That's irritating. But if we have a look here, is it moving everything or just that? So rim center offset. Okay, good. So we can move this back into place, then move the brake back into place. Oh god, this is so much effort. So brake offset now. You know what? That's actually pretty darn close. That's good enough. It clears the brake caliper, does it? Yes, it does. Good, good, good. There we go. And that's what we want. Ugh. Now let's just repeat the entire process again. Wheel concave. You know what? Doing it the second time round, not so bad. And also this is a drum brake, so it doesn't really matter if it's butted up against, because that's usually how they go anyway. Good work. I could go with some offset. Will that affect my price at all? We're at 16.4. Okay, that looks much better. And 16.4, good. It hasn't affected our price at all. And let's change the color of the wheels to be like some sort of matte painted black, which is the sort of thing that I believe they call them charger rims or something like that, usually, as a common terminology. Yeah, they look pretty frickin' sick, bruh. That looks grouse. If you guys don't know what grouse is, good. You're not a hellbilly hick. Oh, a bogan. How do you like my grill, bro? Using one of the new grill fixtures. Woo! That was horrible. How about this? Yeah, much better. Why is that so three-dimensional? What have they done here? Here I am making like lipless grills and all that sort of stuff, and they're just like, you know what, let's just add the biggest lip on possible. Oh yeah, genius. Yeah, no, that's horrible. Never use that. Wait, this fixture doesn't do cutaway? Why? That is infuriating. But I wasn't really sold on the design anyway, if I'm being entirely honest. Go something like this, maybe? Do love this fixture. It is, whoever the mod maker is for this, good job. This is one of my favorites, even though I don't use it very often, but it is still like, yeah, one of my faves. And we'll make that plastic, so then, because it's all plastic anyway, yeah. Now, what sort of headlight are we gonna go with? This is like a little miniature Aston Martin sort of body. It is wicked. So let's have a look. Aston Martin 2022. Okay, you know what? I wasn't talking about the F1 car. Also, that is a very different body, and I do not like those headlights anyway. Oh, they just don't work. They're too small. They're in the wrong place. They're ugly. What is happening? That looks like a Ferrari cross a Maserati, which is not a good thing because Maserati does not look good. So I think we're gonna go with like an old DB9 maybe. Something like that fits a lot more. There's no sharp angles on there. It's a fairly rounded sort of headlight, but it fits the shape and primarily follows this body line here. Yeah, I'm totally gonna be able to do that here. That follows the body shape a little bit, kind of. Maybe if we find a grill that fits, that would then work quite nicely. Unfortunately, I don't think I have... Oh, wait, here we go. This is pretty darn close. I think these are meant to be Aston Martin bits anyway. Apart from the fact that this, like, cuts away way too much, that looks like it fits. I wonder if I can fix this using patchwork. Patchwork is, like, the thing here, I think. Yeah, I think I can make this work. I would have preferred if this grill was just rounded off. This is not going quite the way I wanted it to, but I suppose it'll do. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in a bit of a thing for our number plate to go in. And now we're going to stick in our number plate in it. But because it's inset with my own little thing, we're going to go ahead, make that invisible, make this 3D, and then slowly move it until it clips right about there. So it's inset a little bit like a normal number plate. And then we're gonna try to stick on some screw-like things. So we're just gonna use this. I know it's not actually a screw, but it'll play the part good enough. And we'll just make that like a black plastic. No, maybe a steel. Yeah, I think a steel will do on that. That's pretty much the most of the front done. I might stick on a bit of a fake lip. I think that does a pretty nice job. Unfortunately, it doesn't reach all the way to the edge. And now the only other thing to do is to stick on maybe like a fake vent or grill sort of thing on the edge here. Kind of tie all of it together. It's a little too sharply edged. Ugh, it'll do. I'm limited by my technologies. There's no rounded version, which is very unfortunate. Let's go ahead and put some details on the hood here to let people know that this has a big, powerful engine in it. And now, because the engine is very big, what you're gonna need is some sort of like hood bulge to show that the engine is really big. But here's the kicker. Our engine is east-west. So we're gonna do a little trick, which a lot of car companies do at the moment. And that is, what they're gonna do is they're gonna scale this up to make it look extra big, and then pretend that it's not front-wheel drive. Do you guys like my 4-door coupe shooting brake that we've got here? I think it's fantastic. God, I hate companies these days. Okay. Now that we've done the side, it's time to do the rear, and I'm not entirely sure how to do this. Unfortunately, the body just doesn't really work very well. Maybe if I stretch it out a little bit, that does help somewhat. Has that hurt our price at all? No, it's exactly the same. Good. Then for our lip, oh, this is that like wrong way around diffuser. Let me show you what I mean. You can see here that this curves this way, which is incorrect. Diffusers should go that way. This is bad. Well, I suppose we can fix that. We're gonna go here, we're gonna grab this one, I think, and then, yeah, just fit that in place where it would go. Genius! Unfortunately, that comes with that exhaust pipe that I wanted so badly. Frick. I want to take these and fix this stupidness of whatever they were trying to do with this mod. See, look at that. Much better already. The hatred is real right now for that mod developer. Oh, God. I finally found where the mod is, but for some reason, and somehow, I don't understand how, they've turned comments off. I can add comments. That's weird. Let me like write a scathing review of their thing right now. Yeah, that'll show him. Post comment. Now comments show up. So somebody has to put in a comment first before it shows up mainly here. That is not what I was expecting. For now, we'll use it as is and we'll just bitch and moan to ourselves. Now, as for taillights, I'm very torn. I feel that round taillights do actually still work on this body, but I've done it before, so I don't want to do it again. That's the trade-off here. Oh, that looks pretty good. And here I was just gonna copy this rear taillight design. That's even cooler. Let's see if we can do this. We'll just use some light thingy and we'll kind of follow the lip. That's gonna be very tricky. What is this whole light fixture set? Okay, that is actually looking not too bad, apart from, you know, this. That's... at least we can fill in this with just some regular old patchwork. Best thing in the game. Where do they put reverse lights? Apparently, nowhere. Frick. It seems to be missing something, and maybe I could just fix that with badging? I do want something symmetrical for this. I do have a Holden badge. You know what? Holden's is shut down. This is the new, like, Halo car for the replacing coming soon Holden company. Why is it invisible? Why can't I see it? Well, can't use that. Just ignore that, pretend I never did that. There's our badge. That's the one we're going to use for this company. And I don't know what sort of company to use this. I don't think this fits any other previous category of, like, established brand that I've made. It could be Suzumabachi, actually, and we'll call this the... I'm not sure what to call it. Trainer? So then, I don't know, it's like a trainer shoe? I really don't know. What is the Suzumabachi logo? It doesn't have a logo. Yep, no, I didn't put logos on it. So there is no Suzumabachi logo. Weird. So will that do for Suzumabachi? I feel that Suzumabachi is a little bit more aggressive. So maybe like that? That works. This is a thing that I've noticed in a lot of Japanese brands. Is they like to be very broad. So I think that works nicely. I just wish I could paint it like a color other than being chrome. Like a black logo would be fantastic. And being Japanese, just having like an incorrect name is not the worst thing in the world. Like calling a car a fair lady, that makes no sense. Now to spend some time on the interior, I think? Actually, hold on. Before we move on, what if we go to basic regular seats? That doesn't change our price at all. Good. What if we go sports? Oh my God. That adds over $1,000. So yeah, I think if we go like fake bolstered, like not very good bolstered seats, I think we'll be absolutely fine. Nothing like carbon fiber or anything that they assume that we'll be making sports seats out of. How? Why? Unfortunately, our only real seat options are like the normal ones that you would choose here for older vehicles, or like these really high class ones. There's no like in between. What the hell? I'm gonna have to make something, I suppose. What does this look like for a front seat? No, it doesn't quite work. So I suppose we're gonna have to go like fully bolstered then. That is a very, very tight fit in there as well. But I suppose safety was not a thing we were thinking about. Oh no, I hit back on something and now everything's no! Remember kids, just say no to hitting back. It is currently not in a good way. Yikes. I think we're done. I mean, it's a little bit dorkish. The back does look better than the front, but even the back doesn't look great. But we do have our V12 on, like, stocky rims. Ready to go and take to a track. I would love to put an aero package on this though, but I am a little too concerned that that would hurt our fuel mileage. What is our fuel mileage? 37 miles per gallon? That's pretty good. What's that in real numbers? Liters per 100, please. 6.3 liters per 100. That is really good. Not for a small car, but that is still really good. I do wonder, however, if we'll be able to like pass safety standards. Like basic 2000s gives us at least the airbags and stuff, and we've got the traction control and the ABS. So I think we have everything we require. Whether it's good enough or not for people to buy it, that's a different question. Let's try seeing if driver cam export positioner actually works. I've had a bit of problems getting this to work, but we're gonna 3D place you right in the middle of that headrest. I think that should be good. What does the automation test track reckon we can do? This is not gonna be pretty, is it? 2 minutes 30. Oh, for a V12, that's actually pretty garbage. 1.3 or minus, sorry, 1.3 degrees of camber is actually a lot of camber to have on a street car. I don't know if that's, ooh, that's not great. What's the service cost at? $592. That's actually pretty decent, especially if you got 12 cylinders to service. And our approximate cost is up to $16,500. Damn it. Well, screw it. There's nothing much more we can do, actually. Let's go ahead and try this bad boy out in BeamNG. So I use West Coast a lot, but I found this road just by fiddling around and driving around the map on my own time. And I think this is a great bit of a test bed of a area here. So you start like a end, sorry about here, and this is like the road I would take. Primarily what I really liked is this part here. When driving here, it's very scenic, and it is very indicative of the sort of place a normal person would go for a mountain drive. And it's also quite short, which is very good because the longer I drive, the more chances I have of being rubbish. Question is where do I start? We do have this whole section over here as well. I do like the redwood section. You know what? Yeah, now we're gonna go like a full thing. We're gonna loop all the way around and come back out to basically what is this road anyway. It seems our car might be a little too loud with still a very small exhaust and 2 mufflers, even if they are straight throughs. That's too loud. I'm gonna have to turn my headset down, and I'll probably turn it down for you guys in the edit as well, because that is redonkulous. And in BeamNG, it doesn't look so bad. The taillight's a little bit like, they do that highlighting thing, which is really weird. The front looks a little bit plasticky, I don't know. Interior looks fairly fine. Now, do we have the proper inside camera? Nope. No, we don't. Great. Love the fact that that exports properly. Yep, that's how that, okay. Let's put this over to sport and see how this car handles. No, all right, I think, yeah, we could go ahead and turn that off and see how this car handles. That is so loud. Oh my God. A little bit of oversteer at about 70, which is fine. The ABS is working overtime. This thing screams, bro. Oh, understeer. Oh, that sucked, but that's fine. It seems to have not damaged us too much. And brake turn in. It feels like we're washing out under braking. We still do get like oversteer, which is good. So like our oversteer to understeer is pretty decent, especially for a my brain's not working very well. Front wheel drive. The problem is having to brake into a corner is pretty bad. This is going pretty well, not too many problems. We might be able to just immediately start doing a timed lap for this. There's those brakes working overtime again. And they're not cooking, actually. They're actually staying quite cool, even though there are drum brakes on the rear, which is just incredible. We can brake a lot later than what I'd expect as well. And then, like, braking in those situations just then, it causes it to wash out wide. And I think I'd have to do a lot of like extensive brake tuning to get this car to work really well. So Get it slowed down, turned in. Maybe if we use a little bit of handbrake or a little bit of lift-off oversteer, so... Yeah. Corner exit is not great. Ah! Yeah, like that. So we'll keep an eye out for that one when we go to do the full sweat mode. Bring it down here, brake into the... Okay, yeah, no, trail braking is atrocious. I think that is a problem with having drum brakes on the rear. Like, the ABS is going to have to work completely overtime to get that to turn in. And this is the ending right here. Very scenic race. So let's go ahead and try doing some hot lapping now. Unless this is actually already a track. It kind of is, but it loops all the way back around on the freeway. And I don't really want to time a freeway bit. And just to make this like really official, I spend probably a good 2 hours now making a proper track, and it will store all of my times. And I will make this public so then you guys can do your own times. But why is my tire popped? Why are all my tires popped? That is not right. Okay, now they're not popped. That was weird. And I've put the game volume really quiet for this because I was spending so much time in this. All right, there we go. Back up to a regular volume. Let's go. Oh, no. Traction control. Gotta make sure that is off. And away we go. First gear, tearing up those 185 front tires. Those are not meant for putting down a lot of power. They're the quite fuel economical tires. And then we come down around through here. Oh god, I worked on this for so long, and finally we've got it working. Slow down, gotta make sure that those brakes don't completely screw me. And then first checkpoint. Look at all of these checkpoints. So what I did is I used Track Builder. I made an actual track, then I embedded it under the ground after I realized I couldn't make it completely invisible. And then I put the checkpoints out and placed them exactly where I want them to be. So that's placed out wide, so then you can't cut corners. And, oh, goddammit game, pick a gear, please. Then we come through here. Don't go off any other extra corners or anything. I've put the checkpoint, so then you should be able to see that you don't take corners at any point. Like, this is pretty straightforward. If you get lost on this, I don't know what you're doing. I tried my best to, like, make simple checkpoint stuff sort of work. I was thinking about just putting a beginning and end checkpoint, but I thought, you know what, no, some people will get confused, and I do want people to have fun with this. This is a really cool looking part of the map, which I think is severely underutilized. And I might make a video on how to actually make tracks in the future, but then again, I don't know if the way I do it is right. But, I mean, we've got something at least, and then coming down here for the last few checkpoints, really getting pretty good on those apexes with this, like, absolutely terrible vehicle when it comes to braking. I wish I could make the checkpoints a little bit bigger. For some reason I just didn't have that as an option. No, I can do, oh, sorry, burps there. I can do that with hot lapping. For some reason not here, and then that's on an angle. That's weird. Why is that on an angle? Anyway, that is my first ever track time. 2 minutes. I don't know whether that's good or not. I've not actually used it before. But let's go to free roam. I've just noticed something. Yep. This has not exported correctly. Back into automation, I suppose. Why are they switched on sides? Okay, that's fine. We'll just move them back, I suppose. That's annoying and weird. Thank God I can re-export without having to reopen BeamNG. God, could you imagine how much of a pain in the butt it would be if it wasn't like this? And then come back here and it should update, right? Yep, there we go. Nice. Now, as you'll notice, I get like really crappy frame rate. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close that off. And yeah, so now when I'm doing hot laps on more personal type cars, this is where I will be bringing it. I won't be going to any other sort of track. This is basically it. I've just noticed the badges haven't exported right. Hold on. I think that might be... So, if you do get this issue, usually restarting BeamNG does fix this. Yep, just a quick restart and that did fix it. That doesn't always work. That's only if you're exporting from automation whilst BeamNG is still running. But give it a bit of a run around the automation test track. We're not going to bother doing a time on this. We just want to see how it handles on the certain corners. Oh, God! Because this is not a racetrack. This is pretty much purely for testing cars, you know. See how they go on off-camber corners, big, long, high-speed corners like this sort of thing that tighten up towards the end. I just realized we got ESC on, so turn that off, and back into it, and then we're gonna go the... I don't know what this corner is called, like mini slingshot or something? Handles that quite nicely, and then break down into Ban Hammerhead. Oh, wow, okay. We weren't going quite as fast as I was expecting, so that didn't go quite so well. But that's gone fairly, I suppose, good enough. Bring it down into the Cotswolds and see how a trail braking corner goes. If you're kind of soft on the brakes, it's not so bad. God, this thing screams so loud in your ear! Well, let's see now how this thing deals with the slingshot. Slingshot is a particularly tricky one because if you don't have the right sort of aero package, then your car can do really bad. But this thing should still understeer through here, not oversteer. Ooh, okay, we are getting a bit of oversteer. But 211 kilometers an hour, not so bad. That's a pretty decent top speed for a low-powered car. Slow it down. Get it nice and slow and turn in for Bavarian Bend. This is an off-camber corner. So that actually didn't go so bad. I did brake way too early, but that's kind of my mistake. It's not so bad, though. I think what we were able to prove here on this corner, if you have a look here, we'll just clip into the ground a little bit. You can see that this is off camber, as it's like showing a little bit down here but not over here, and that's because this corner is off camber to catch cars out. If I was trail braking into this, I would have just speared off and I just would have died. But if I don't have my braking issue, this isn't so bad, actually. It does pretty well. I like also that this game has pre-done skid marks. These are not skid marks I left, so this is meant to be a law of the map. You've got somebody that's come here and they've crashed and they've spun around, then somebody is like speared off, probably crashing into a wall. That's pretty epic. I've never really noticed that before, I suppose. I think I see another one here where it looks like they've had a bit of a coming together with the wall. But back to our car. We're coming down into Kilrob Chicane, and yeah, trail braking with this car sucks really bad. I could probably tune that out, but I mean, this is a really cheap car. It was probably rushed out of the doors. They were like, well, it's not going to kill anybody. So, I mean, why should we bother fixing it? Now, Adam's Apex. That will catch out any car that is not set up properly, and yet the brakes did really bad, but the speed otherwise is not so bad. Usually you would expect a car that's, you know, not tuned 100% right. That's kind of okay. You know what? Handbrake corner. Because we were having to trail brake there for a second. I think, yeah, I can't tell you what is wrong with the brakes right now. I'll actually have to bring up my new way of tuning brakes. First, we're gonna go in and we're gonna remove that entirely so we get rid of ABS. Then bring up this debug for wheel speed, which is this one down here. So wheel speed debug, which is actually already here. What the hell? Whatever, we'll close that one off and have the new one running. Why do I also have weight distribution and it's not working? God damn it, devs, why? Anyway, let's get the speed up and then we'll drop the anchors and see what happens to the brakes with the wheel speed. So about 100 kilometers an hour, start braking, and okay, no, it's the front brakes are too powerful, and the rear brakes are doing basically nothing. So if you have really powerful front brakes, even with ABS, what's going to happen is the car is going to wash out in the cornering, and I thought that might have been it, but it didn't really seem right. I felt as if the ABS was being overactive, and it was, but I think that's because the rear brakes are just not working. So yeah, the rear brakes don't even lock up at all. It is just the front brakes are too powerful. You know what? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do a little bit of tuning. Watch my frame rate tank. It should be able to lock up. The solid line is above the dotted line. The dotted line is grip, and the blue line, oh, the solid lines, sorry, are the ones that are for the amount of force available. So what I'm gonna do is just up the rear brake size a little bit. They don't need to be be too big. They didn't overheat at all. So I think maybe that sort of size, because you don't ever run full-size brakes. They're just never full-size. In real life, that is. But since we've got about 100% brake force, we can go anywhere up to 96, and that should still give us decent brake force. So let's go up to like 80% rear brake force. And now let's try it again. We still don't have the ABS enabled, so hopefully that won't be messing with us. We got low frame rates, but I don't care. We're going to get to about 110 and then start braking hard. And look at that, all wheels are locking up fairly evenly. All right, and again, and again, and again. Jesus, all right. Get it up to about 100-ish, 110 maybe, and then braking. And we can see there that the rear brakes are only a little bit ahead of locking up in front of the fronts. Yeah, you know what? I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead, close that off. And you know what? I'm gonna try that lap time again. Phil's Hill, and select our car, and set to 1 lap, away we go. Come on, turn. Oh my God, we've done worse. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this anyway. We've got, oh good, it actually shows the times for my car. Nice. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye. That's a lot worse for wear.